Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be the ending of the story that we've been following since the introduction of Spider-Man in Civil War back in 2016. And the reason that the fans have not been a big fan of this take on Spider-Man is because we have not seen him suffer enough. We have seen the character even having suits by Iron Man, and some of them call Iron Man Jr., which is I understand that statement because the reality that we love and the reason that we love Spider-Man 2 so much is because we see the character really the life of Peter Parker going horribly wrong, but the life of Spider-Man going correctly. So that's the reason that we love that film so much, because we know the character of Peter Parker has never have his life easy. He doesn't have what he wants. His only role in life is to be Spider-Man, and the life of Peter Parker is never the right way. And that's the reason that we love the story of Spider-Man so much and Peter Parker, because we can relate how in life sometimes we don't have what we want. And now that we know that Spider-Man 4 and the next trilogy is coming, I just wanted to take a look at what we can imagine from the next trilogy, as well as some of the things that I would love to see next, even though the character we may not see this film in a while, since we know that there's a possibility that the next time we're gonna see Spider-Man could be maybe 3 to 4 years from now. So we don't know when that could be, but hey, we know that there's a possibility that we're gonna see Spider-Man, Tom Holland in Venom 3, so we don't know when it's going to be the next time we see him. We also know that Marvel Studios is developing the Spider-Man Freshman Year show, which is going to be between the shows. So that's something that we know, that they want to do a Disney Plus show in between the movies. So Spider-Man 4, then a TV show, Spider-Man 5, then a TV show, and Spider-Man 6, and then like that. So we know Spider-Man Freshman Year is going to be between the next film, Spider-Man 4, and this No Way Home. So we know that we're gonna get Spider-Man for a while. But the reason that I wanted to take a look at my idea of what I would love to see in Spider-Man is because this character at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home is in the perfect place to take him in so many directions. So the reason and the main focus on this trilogy, the Home trilogy, is that Peter has been given everything. Cool tech, be part of the MCU world, be part of the Avengers. And I can understand that Kevin Feige and the producers wanted this because it's something that we have not seen, and that's okay. We obviously wanted to see him with the Avengers, and see Tony took a mentor role for him and provide his suits. That's something that, hey, is something that happened in the comics, like in Civil War, he gets his suit by Sony, but it's not Peter. It doesn't feel Peter. Even in the swings, it's not in the buildings and New York like we have seen before. So we can understand how they wanted to do something different in those films. And now by the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, it's so perfect because we see him in New York, like in actual New York. He has an apartment now. He's living by himself. He has a new suit. So the possibilities of taking this and put it in the next trilogy is just perfect. The thing that makes Spider-Man, like I said, is just so impactful is that he doesn't have no one in his life. In some places and some things he has Aunt May, but in this he doesn't have Aunt May, he doesn't have Happy, he doesn't have any friends. So he's literally back to zero. No, not back to formula, back to zero. And he has to do everything for himself now. This is something that we have not seen with this Tom Holland. And by the end of this film, we get, I believe the Spider-Man No Way Home ending is one of the best endings to a film ever. It's just so perfect. Like, yeah, he doesn't have no one. The reason that his decisions are right is because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. And Spider-Man by the end of No Way Home is closer to the comics that he has ever been. He's alone, no friends, no family, and everyone that he ever knew is gone. Aunt May died. And this reminded me a lot of Spider-Man, the game for PlayStation, as well as connection to Spider-Man 2. So the next film that we could see is a perfect combination of those two things. As we know, my idea of Spider-Man 4 is that we know that it's going to be the next College Trilogy. And I love to see him being part of the community. working as a volunteer for fees. It is something that he did for Aunt May, something that we see in Spider-Man the game, working hard as Spider-Man and by day and in college, as well as balancing a way to pay for rent. I would like to see him doing something different, work related, like working in a burger joint, something that happens in the Ultimate Spider-Man. I would also love to see him with a new look, and it's something that I'm showing now, which he has longer hair. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of money to get a haircut, so it makes sense that he will have this crazy hair and just a new look. He's adult, so maybe they even bring a skateboard. That would be so cool to see in the next trilogy, something completely different. And the clothes that he has is because the clothes that is given to him by fees. So that's something that I would love. He doesn't have a lot, but the only thing that he has is Spider-Man, and that's something that we know. The suit that was shown at the end is absolutely beautiful, and it's something so connected to the comics, and I just love that suit so much because it shows a new color in his life that he has not had, obviously, and the only thing that he has colorful in his life is Spider-Man. So it will make sense that, hey, the only thing that he does is this. We also see him not getting enough sleep and so on. So I'm excited for that part of the next trilogy because it will be so different. Something that I would love to see is his love interest. We would love to see Gwen Stacy finally to be introduced in the MCU. Something in No Way Home that Andrew talked about is his Gwen. So it will be surprising when he sees her in the next trilogy and he will connect the dots. That will be perfect. We know MJ could be in the film, but just in a minor role, like old friends that he has held forever, memories forever. So that's something that I would like to see. But no, I can accept that MJ is not gonna be his next love interest, as they don't have no memories together. And we know that MJ and Ned are moving to Boston, so it's going to be really interesting to see new people in his life. This is a perfect moment to introduce Harry Osborn and eventually have his own Norman in the MCU. That's something that we know that it can happen, like the Dark Avengers. So super exciting to see that. I have a dream casting, and that will be the actor of Timothy Chalamet. And yeah, he will be a perfect Norman Osborn. So finger crossed for that. Now, a perfect introduction to this new world where Peter Parker is alone, but Spider-Man is not going to be alone, as he's going to be has friends with Black Cat. And I have a dream casting, which will be the character of Anne Taylor. She obviously she has TV show The Queen's Gambit. She was perfect in that, so I would love to see her in the MCU as well. And just how Peter is alone, but in Spider-Man has different friends. Eventually, I would like to see in Spider-Man 5 or 6 the introduction of, as we know, of Miles Morales and how he will be the next Spider-Man in the next films. Obviously, this will be after Spider-Man 6 in the next trilogy, so that will be perfect to see the next Spider-Man but be introduced maybe in Spider-Man 2, well, in this case, Spider-Man 5. And yeah, he will be a mentor, and everything that he learned from all his mentors, every decision that he learned, I'll teach that to him. And then in the next Spider-Man 6, have like a big Spider-Verse film, like bigger than No Way Home, with all this Spider-Man and all these villains. So it will be perfect to see something so different like Spider-Man No Way Home, but in a bigger scale. Now, at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, we see the symbiote is left behind. So we know that the next black suit, the symbiote, he's gonna have that in the next trilogy, maybe Spider-Man, the second film, or the first film, Spider-Man 4. So we will have to wait and see that when will that be introduced. Going into the villains, there's so many ways you can go in the sense of the villains, but some villains hints in No Way Home were Rhino and Kraven the Hunter. With details that Kraven is going to be set in the MCU, it will make perfect sense how Marvel/Sony are working together to craft the world of Spidey, connected but not connected in a way. I also would love to see those villains like Rhino will be perfect, as well as Kraven the Hunter. Just like so many villains and different villains that we know that are going to be in the MCU. I would like to see the introduction of Kingpin in the MCU in the Spider world. We know that Kingpin was in Hawkeye recently, so I would love to see that. I would like to see a continuation of Daredevil in the next films. We know that Daredevil was Peter's lawyer in Spider-Man No Way Home, so I would love to see that continue in the next trilogy, but Daredevil helping Spider-Man. That would be so awesome. I also imagine Peter eventually working for the Daily Bugle. It's not something that I would like to see necessarily, but hey, it will be so cool. As we know, they've been hinting a lot of JJ, so this will be so awesome to see in the next film as well. Maybe he takes a role of a videographer or something like that, something different instead of photographer that we have seen before. We also know that Venom left a part of him, so that's something that I would love to see. And again, the introduction of Black Cat and how they work together to solve crime. So that would be so perfect. And that's my ideal. I don't know, I just have this vision for Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6 being being different films. And there's so many ways they can go. Obviously, we have the multiverse in hand, so they can bring those multiverse things. But they have taken Spider-Man back to the beginning. Like, he's alone. He has nobody. He I don't know. I just love that. I love by the end of the film, he has his own apartment. He's spending Christmas by himself, so that's a little bit sad. But wow, what a way to end the film, and what a way to set up everything after Spider-Man No Way Home. That is just so perfect, so beautiful. And what would you like to see? What is some of the things that you would like to see in that film? Leave your comments below on that. But that's my idea of Spider-Man 4, the next trilogy. We know that Oscorp is not in the MCU yet, so I would like to see as well that the building of Oscorp, something different. I mean, Kevin Feige and the team at Sony did an amazing job with Spider-Man No Way Home, so I have no doubt that the next Spider-Man, Spider-Man 4, is going to be something beautiful. And hopefully in the future, if you've seen this video, then some of the things that I said are right. That would be so cool. But leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Christian from Beyond Films, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.